Daf Chaf Amud Beis, 5 lines from the top. Rav Yasser said, Adon Taman, while I was still in Babel before I came to Eretz Yisrael, Shamet called Rav Yehuda, Shal Shmuel, Shmuel. I heard the voice of Rav Yehuda asking Shmuel the following Shiloh. If Sheklu Maze, a person who was mocked, she set aside the shekel, and he was mocked to shit, and then he died. What do you do with this shekel? He said that the machzas the shekel should go to Nadova. It should go to the shefer that's marked Nadova, then it goes for the Ketz Mizbeach, for the Nidvas Tzibur. Nidvas with the Tzibur. Then he asked another Shiloh, Meiser Asiris Eifa Shaloi, what about the excess of the Asiris Eifa of the Kohen Gadol? The Kohen Gadol brings a mincha every day, Asiris Eifa, Machsisa B'Baikir, Machsisa B'Erev. And what is the halacha as far as the extra, the surplus, if there's a surplus and excess for the money that was needed for this mincha? He was makdish money and he didn't need all of it. What do you do with this extra money? Rabbi Yochanan, he says that it's thrown into Yom Melech. And Rabbi Elazar Amar, he says it also goes l'nadava. So we're discussing the Asir Seif of the Kohen Gadol, Asir Seif of Kohen Gadol, Rabbi Yochanan Amar, Chaytz Oisav, Achar Kach Mikach. As mentioned, it was brought in two parts. Rabbi Yochanan says the entire amount is an Asir Seif of the flour. He says, first you split it, you divide it in two, and then you're Makadish it. It's first divided into two. Masnisa, Pligal Rabbi Yochanan. Apparently, the Mishnah Menachos would seem to argue and present a kasha on Rav Yochanan, because it says the case in the Mishnah over there is the Kohen Gadol's makriv, the first half. He was makriv the first half of the mincha of the chavit in the morning, and then he died. So makriv, mechsa. If he was makriv half, if he was makriv the half in the morning, and then he died, then we say that mechsa of it. The second half, the afternoon part of it, is destroyed. Now, according to Rabbi Yochanan, if it didn't have kiddush yet in the Kli Shores, if he says it that if it's only you split it first, you divide it first, and only afterwards you mekadosh it, where the afternoon portion didn't have a kiddush yet, it didn't have a kedushas haguf, it only had a kedushas domim, it only had a monetary kedusha. So why does it have to be destroyed? Moran says, because according to Rav Yochanan, as we said before, even something with the monetary kedusha, we also said that it goes liyam melech. So we said that if you have the surplus money, Rav Yochanan held that if you have the surplus money of the Kohen Gadol, Rav Yochanan says liyam melech. So therefore, Rav Yochanan says even the Asir Seif of the Kohen Gadol, the mincha of the Kohen Gadol, even the component, even at the stage rather that it has only kedushas domim, if it can't be used, if you can't be makriv it, then it goes liyam melech. So it's not a kasha on Rav Yochanan. Yes, there was no kiddush over here; it didn't have kedushas aguf, but nevertheless it goes liyam melech. The seifa of that Mishnah Menachos would seem to be a kasha on Reish Lakish, because it says in the case where the Kohen Gadol he died, so therefore he's makriv one half of it, but then he died, the second half he can't be makriv, and the replacement Kohen Gadol can't use it either. The replacement Kohen Gadol brings another mincha, and it's divided. Now he's only makriv half of it. He's only makriv the afternoon component. So the second half of the first Kohen Gadol's mincha cannot be makriv it, and the Kohen Gadol, the replacement Kohen Gadol, he's only makriv the portion that goes in the afternoon, and the portion that normally would have gone in the morning, also you can't be makriv. Two halves you're makriv. The first Kohen Gadol's makriv one half, the second Kohen Gadol's makriv another half, and two of them are avudim, have to be destroyed. Vitanya, we learned in the Brisa referring to that. We say the first half, the half of the first Kohen Gadol, and the other half of the second kind of gadol, it has to be destroyed, but we don't destroy them immediately. We have to wait till it stays overnight. It changes its appearance, and then it becomes possible, and only then we can destroy it. We don't destroy it prior. Now, according to Reish Lakish, why do you need Ibrit Tzura? If he says you're Makadosh it and then Chaytzeyu, so when you're Makadosh it, you gave it Kedushas Aguf. Well, if it had a Kedushas Aguf already, and the Kohen Gadol, first Kohen Gadol died, that portion, that second portion, you can't be Makavit, so therefore it became disqualified. It should be possible right away. It has a Psul Guf. You should be able to burn it right away. And similarly, the other half of the second Kohen Gadol, if he already had Kedusha in the Kli, it had Kedusha's Guf, you can't be Makravit, it's disqualified, it should be able to be burnt right away. Why do you need Ibrit Tzura? Also, Allah, Kerush Moel. Reish Lakish says that I hold that when it has Kedusha's Guf, I hold like Rish Shmuel that the Isaran, when you measure it in that vessel of the Isaran, that gives it the Kedushas Aguf. And therefore, he would say, Ein Chanami. According to the way we hold, like Rabbi Shmuel, you would not need Ibrit Tzura. But this brisa that says you need Ibrit Tzura is not going like Rabbi Shmuel and says that the Isaran does not give it a Kedushas Aguf, and that's why you need a Ibrit Tzura. Kishakain, Miskar of Tchil Avodah, when a Kohen, he comes the first time to do the Avodah. Now, this a halacha of a Asir Seif, the mincha of Asir Seif. This applies both to a Kohen Gadol and, in a certain case, to a Kohen Hedger. The Kohen Gadol brings a Asir Seif every day. Machsisa b'beikir, machsisa ber, half in the morning, half in the evening. A Kohen Hedget, he brings this mincha of Asir Seif. He also brings it when he's nischanech, when he's inaugurated, is initiated into the Avodah. The first time he comes to do the Avodah, when he has his chinuch, the first time to do the Avodah. So this time when he's initiated with the Avodah, this inauguration, he's required also to bring this Asir Seifa, machsisa b'bayk, machsisa ber. So, k'shakayin is carved chil Avodah, when the kain does the Avodah the first time, maybe Asir Seifa shaloi, he brings his Asir Seifa of the biyara, and he does the Avodah personally with his own hand. Echad Kohen Gadol ve'echad Kohen Hedger sha'avdu ad shaloi heviu Asir Seifa shalem. If an Avodah, a Kohen Gadol and a Kohen Hedger, if they did the Avodah without first bringing this korban, this initiation, inauguration korban, nevertheless, Avodasan Kshera, the Avodah is still kosher. Ramana boy Meimer, he wanted to say, boy bayom sheniskarav tchil avodah, boy bayom nisman aliyos kohen gadol. Well, if you have a case where you have the first time this kohen is doing the avodah, he was also appointed to be the kohen gadol. So his very first day of doing the avodah, he's also been appointed to kohen gadol. So now he would need two korbanos, one for his initiation, one Asir Seif for his initiation to do the Avodah, and secondly, now he's a Kohen Gadol, so he has to do his daily Avodah of the Mincha as a Kohen Gadol. So therefore, he wanted to say, maybe Shtaim, he has to bring two korbanos of the Chavitim, Achas l'chinucha, Achas l'chayv zayim, one for his initiation and one for his daily obligation as a Kohen Gadol. So now the Gemara is discussing this mincha that he brings of the Kohen Gadol. These chavitin, it says tefine. The Torah says it's baked. B'shas hava tefine, ve'en b'shachas tefine. It means you bake it at the time of bringing it, meaning it's baked in the day, but it's not baked prior to that. So ve'en b'shachas tefine. You don't bake it in the early morning, before the daytime, before the time that it's bringing. And you don't bring it before Alois. But the Gemara asks, but we learned in the Mishnah Talmud that before the day before Alois, they appoint the people who make the chavitim to make the chavitim. So doesn't that show you that we bake the chavitim even before the beginning of the day? The Gemara answers, no. It just means to make the hot water, prepare the hot water for the scalded a loaf of bread. But they used to take the flour and scald it in the boiling water. The boiling water was boiled up and heated before lice, but not the baking. The Gemara continues to darshan tefine. The dough is baked. Rabbi Yasa B'Shem B'Chanina Metagna V'Achach Oifeis. He says first it's fried and then it's baked. Ravacha B'Shem Rabbi Chanina Oifeis V'Achach Metagna. But he says, Ravacha says that no. He says first it's baked and then it's fried. So this machlekes is chayra totally on the following machlekes. The machlekes tanoim. Tefine teafena no. One damar says, what is the lashon of tefine? It means teafena, tefine, teafena, bake it, no, partially cooked. Not when it's completely cooked, partially cooked. So therefore it means partially is the meaning you first fry it, it's partially cooked, it's fried, and then you bake it. Rabbi Omer teafena no. He says that no, tefine means that we darshan it, that it's baked, no, when it's attractive. What does that mean? It means that it's baked before it's fried. When it's fried, it's blackened a little bit, so it doesn't have a nice appearance. It's supposed to be baked while it has a nice and attractive appearance, meaning first bake it and then fry it. Rabbi Daisai Metafena Riba. He says, Tafena Riba means baking it a lot of baking, meaning you bake it before the frying and after the frying. So now Asini Lane Plagvasa Kihen Plagvasa, the machlekes previously is the machlekes over here. Mandamer Tefena no, the one who says bake it, no, Kimandamer Oifa, Bachach Metagna. First bake it and then fry it before it's blackened. Mandam Tefena no, he says partially cooked. First fry it. The Gemara Menachos said that if a kohen gadol died, if he was makriv half of his mincha, and then he died, you cannot be makriv the second half. The replacement kohen gadol brings a full asar, and he's makriv half, and the other half is nevan. Whereas the shaila loisev dover shemeis. Well, that case is talking when he died. But is it only when the first kohen gadol died? Is it also where he became disqualified? Even if he didn't die, if he became disqualified, he became tomei or he had a mum. Do we say the same thing, that the second half is not, we're not makriv the second half, and you have to have a replacement for it? Tani Rabbi Yehuda Bar Pazi Vardalia, he says, even if the first kohen gadol didn't die, but even if he just had in case if he had a mum, then it's also that same halacha applies. The Gemara continues discussing the case of the mincha of the kohen gadol. Minayin lekohen gadol shemeis v'lo minu acher tachtav. How do we know that a kohen gadol died, and if they did not appoint a replacement kohen gadol? Shetei minchasa kreva mishal yorshim. How do I know that the yorshim, the inheritors, the mincha comes from their funds? How do I know that? Talmud Leimer mibanav yasa oisei. The pasuk says that the mincha should come from his descendants, his children. Pashup Pshat in the pasuk's mashma means that if the kohen gadol died, then the successor from his children who take over, they also will be makriv this daily korban. But we darshan that mibanav from his children, we darshan that the money comes if they did not appoint a replacement kohen gadol. The money for the daily mincha comes from the yarshim. Comes from the bonav. You might think that in this case as well, the procedure is the same, there's no change, and it's brought in half in the morning, half in the evening. That it's divided, so you might think in this case when the kohen gadol died, and you bring it from the funds of the yarshim, also it's divided. Talmud Leimer Oisa. Now it says Oisa. It says in the pasuk that the bonav, it says "Mibanav Yasa Oisa." It means the complete one. It's not divided. The complete mincha. Kulamati. It means that it's brought all at once. It's not divided in half. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon El Mishal Tzibur, but he argues, says it's not brought from the Yorshim. It's brought from the Tzibur. Shenemar Choik Olam. It says it's a Choik Olam. It says that this should be a Choik, a statute for eternity. So what does it mean? Chayik oilam misha briz krusaloi. It means the one that there's a briz that's for oilam, for eternity. That is the tzibur. That for the tzibur, that the chayik oilam, the chayik oilam is from the tzibur, which is eternal. So therefore, it means to say over here that the funds are brought, the money is brought from those who have an eternal bris, an eternal covenant from the tzibur. And it continues, the pasuk says, Kol takter, kol haktar. It says, Kol takter, it's completely burnt. It's burnt in its entirety. This type of a mincha is like minchas kayin. It's not like a regular mincha yisrael where there's a kamitza and the kaimitz is burnt on the mizbeach and the rest is eaten. This is burnt in its entirety.